This is Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even when it's not pretty. Mia LaRue, I just want to send you my absolute support right now as our first deaf contestant, the first deaf contestant in Miss Universe South Africa.
We are leaving too many South Africans behind, and I am here to teach the included how to be inclusive towards the excluded, as well as empowering the excluded with tools so they can reach their full potential, because our country is at its strongest when it is unified. Thank you.
That is our Miss South Africa, a deaf woman speaking there in her second language about how she wishes to inspire disabled children across our country, how she wishes to teach people about inclusion. And now, while because of her disability she is ill, around the world people are patting themselves on the back for laughing at her illness because she was pulled into a race debate that she never designed. She never designed it. If you couldn't hear what our Miss South Africa said because of her thick accent, as well as how she speaks if you're not from our country, she said, I want to teach the included to include the excluded. I want to teach the excluded what it feels like to be included. She said, our country is stronger. I want to teach the excluded what it feels like to be included. She said, that it is united. Watch us unite now as you try to bully us into submission. You try to bully the experts at fighting racism on what race is and isn't. You're trying to bully us into submission because you think that a witch hunt is going to work here. You don't know what you're dealing with. When you try racial games with us, you're playing with the big boys here. Demonizing us into submission is not going to work. I'm here to tell you the truth, whether or not you like it. Okay? You don't know my country. South Africa stands behind you as you are facing vertigo. You cannot balance right now. We are behind you, and we've all stood behind you while people around the world are tearing our character apart. You see, they have created an entire racial thing around your representing us in Miss Universe South Africa, and you never said a word about that, and we are so proud of you. It is not your fault that somebody's mother stole a South African's identity. It is not your fault that people have been doing this for 30 years in our country. It is not your fault that we have been enraged by that because of how much it has cost millions of South Africans when people do this. There have been so many people who've patted themselves on the back for standing up against bullying while thinking nothing of laughing at and bullying a disabled woman. And you never said a word, Mia. They have patted themselves on the back for being anti-racist while actually victimizing you for your skin color because they don't see you as someone that fits their definition of being African. They've never asked, they pat themselves on the back of being pro-black, but they don't even care what black South Africans want. They want to speak over them. They want to white knight on behalf of them. They absolutely disregard what black South Africans are saying, that we want to build a real democracy. It's not just a buzzword in this country. Anti-racism is not just a buzzword for us. When we said we wanted equality, we wanted equality. When we said we wanted to judge people on the basis of their character, that is what we're doing. We're putting our money where our mouth is, no matter who criticizes us. Okay, no matter who tries to speak over our constitution. I've seen titles of videos calling what South Africa are holding Chidima accountable. They call that the price of being black, never once considering that they are the ones equating blackness with dishonesty. No South African said that. We don't think that. We have millions of black people of integrity here, whether they're born in this country or not. We're saying that nobody is above the law. But somehow, to people for whom equality is a buzzword, not something they live when it gets tough, they want to come and preach to us. Mia, we are proud of you. We will do what's right, even when it's unpopular, because that's what we're made of in this country. That's how we were raised. Okay, Mia, you have been incredibly brave, incredibly classy. Once again, we are accused of racism the same way we were accused of being anti-white just 2 years ago when we stood up for Bongi and Bonambi. The same way that we were accused at the same time of being anti-black just because we stood up for Thailand. The same way that we are accused of being terrorists just because we stood up for Palestine. In that same way, there are people who have fantasies about what they want our country to be, and they delude themselves into thinking that they are pro-black just because we won't stand for crime. We won't stand for crime in this country. We recognize that it is our officials, our corrupt officials, that have allowed this to happen. We were not prepared to let someone who has done a crime go and represent our country. That was far too much of an insult. But we are behind you, Mia. We're behind you no matter what. We are very accustomed to mud being thrown on our name. We are so accustomed to that. Mia, we wish you health. We wish for you to recover. Let them say what we will. Let them say what they will, because we are no stranger to being demonized. It has happened once again. It has happened before. Okay? And an entire diaspora is acting like the child of a criminal was demonized. They even went so far as giving her a pity win, overriding Nigerian contestants who actually had worked very hard to be there. Many Nigerians have spoken out about it, and shout out to the Nigerians who have actually made multiple videos standing up for South Africa and saying, hang on, there is more to the story than you guys see. Guys, you are not here to teach the children of Steve Biko, the father of Black consciousness, what Black consciousness looks like. Our political leaders for 100 years all said, whether it's Steve Biko, whether it's Nelson Mandela, they all said they wanted people who had equal opportunities in this country, irrespective of race. They didn't want to reverse the racial dichotomy. They wanted to do away with it. So Mia, we appreciate you. You are one of us. You are one of our kids. According to our constitution, the South African constitution, which we wrote in 1995, we decided we could have chosen to fight like any other nation would have done. We could have chosen to have a war like every nation in history has done. We decided to work together. We decided to put our laws together. We decided what's happening at our borders. And while we are still growing that democracy and we're still trying to iron out the things that are very, very normal, they've been devastating, but they're very, very normal in a new democracy. Okay, we are ironing them out faster than many new countries have. 30 years feels long when you're living it, but it's very short in history. It took England hundreds of years after their independence to get where we are. It took France hundreds of years after their independence to get where we are already. Okay, so I'm proud of you, South Africa. I'm proud of how firm you've stood. We know who we are. Let them tear apart our character. Many of them have shown that crime is not a deal breaker for them. It is for us. Okay? You will not intimidate my country into silence because of misplaced narratives of right and wrong. I don't know where you guys learned about right and wrong, but you missed a few key lessons. Thank you.
What does being Miss South Africa mean to you?
Being Miss South Africa means to me a great deal, because it actually means that I managed to break a barrier that night. And I managed to help transform the world of pageantry in terms of inclusivity. But beyond that, I also have an opportunity to help create actual change within our society in terms of inclusivity and what it means to be beautiful and smart. And I am so excited to do just that.
What advice would you give to young women who look up to you as a role model?
My advice would be, I know when I was a little girl or a young woman, I would look up to role models and they would seem so without fear, so fearless, like they can just do anything, so successful, like things come to them so easily. And sometimes when things look easy, it doesn't always mean it is easy. It just means you have learned how to become good at doing it. So keep cultivating your skills and keep cultivating what you are good at, and don't give up, keep believing in your dream, and you will achieve it with hard work.
We are answerable only to this document. the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, which states very clearly, we, the people of the Republic of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past, honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those who have worked to build and develop our country, believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. We therefore, through our freely elected representatives, adopt this constitution as the supreme law of the Republic, so as to heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Lay the foundations for a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equally protected by law. Improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person, and build a united and democratic South Africa able to take its rightful place as a sovereign state in the family of our nation, family of nations. May God protect our people, and we say God bless South Africa here in multiple languages. The ones I can speak and pronounce, I will say Nkosi Sikelele Africa, Morena Bulukwa Sechaba Sayesu, Hot See in South Africa. God bless South Africa. So let us answer now by listening to one of those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, Steve Biko, the father of Black consciousness, who they dare speak over. A man who didn't make it to my age. He died in his 30s. This is what his vision was for South Africa, and he is the only one we need to make proud.
We see a completely non-racial society. We don't believe, for instance, in the so-called guarantees for minority rights, because guaranteeing minority rights implies the recognition of portions of the community on a race basis. We believe that in our country there shall be no minority, there shall be no majority, there shall just be people. And those people will have the same status before the law, and they will have the same political rights before the law. So in a sense, it will be a completely non-racial egalitarian society.
But will the vast number of blacks, after all their experiences, be able to live their life without giving vent to feelings of revenge, of
yes, we believe it is the duty of the vanguard political movement which brings about change to educate people's outlooks. I mean, in the same way that blacks have never lived in a socialist economic system, they're going to learn to live in one. In the same way that they've always lived in a racially divided society, they're going to learn to live in a non-racial society.
So to all the beauty queens, representing 1.4 billion Africans in 54 different countries, 3,000 cultures, 2,000 languages, I wish you well, and so does South Africa, no matter what it is you think about us. But I do encourage you, please remember who it was not so long ago, 5 minutes ago historically in 2019, who inspired you to know that you could be there, who paved the way for you, and who helped you see that it was possible. An indomitable beauty queen who was Miss Universe 2019.
South Africa!
South Africa!
I got my first book ever from my grandmother, who never got an opportunity to get an education. She gave me that book because she had hoped that I would have a future much better than hers. I come from strong women who have fought not only to be recognized as humans, but to be recognized as intelligent and capable leaders. Because of those women, I am here today, and it is now my responsibility to inspire others, to lead, to be the best, and to stay confident in everything that they do. Thank you so much.
South Africa. South Africa. South Africa.
Every morning when I get up, I blast my music and sing at the top of my lungs. It makes me feel free, and when I'm free, I'm my most powerful.
We can make it right, so go and let it all hang out tonight. 'Cause we don't love you.
South Africa.
My dress symbolizes where I come from. It represents the brown of the sand and the blue of the ocean. I feel like I have South Africa with me on the stage.
South Africa. South Africa. South Africa and Puerto Rico. Miss Universe is South Africa.
Could you share with us your sign name and a few basic signs?
My sign name is Mia, and then to spell it, M-I-A. And then I'm going to show you a few basic signs like thank you, please, hello for one person, hello for multiple people, bye, beautiful, and then how can I help you? Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. So to all the people that have been commenting about Miss South Africa, have never looked into who Mia is, have never seen anything other than that she's a white woman. They'll even type it in capital letters, and that's all they focus on. Not who she is, and not the legacy of the Adetshina family here, and the truth of what they did. Right? You expect her to be put above the law because she's your favorite, not because you've actually looked beneath the surface. Well done, guys. Mama must be so proud. Mia, that is your legacy, that you chose to inspire disabled children. Chidima, South Africa has been clear about not prosecuting you for it. We have been kind enough to do that because that is our integrity. Right? We are able to sleep at night, but through no fault of your own. This is your mother's legacy. This is the price that someone has paid for the lie on which your life was unfortunately built. Through no fault of your own, baby girl. I do not hate you. I don't hate you. But that the facts are what they are. Do not blame me. Do not blame my country.
How are you with the story?
He says he's been left in limbo, waiting nearly 4 years for a new ID that he says has been issued 6 times. But not to him. Raymond Diarcy is the victim of identity theft. His ID was fraudulently issued 6 times since 2011, and now there's a series of fraud and drug-related charges against his name.
You know, when I spoke to the guy in Home Affairs, you know, he then punched my ID number, and then he showed me on the screen where all these issues have been taking place, you know, with the phone numbers of the person that have collected the ID.
Unemployed and unable to secure work due to the criminal charges, Diarcy says his rights as a South African have been grossly violated. He says he's given up hope.
The police are aware of this case. The Home Affairs is aware of this case. Look at the period from 2010 till this time. I haven't received the ID. On those bases, I've lost faith.
So go ahead and clap for Chidima. Most people in my country have nothing but compassion for her, because even if she wins, her win will always be tainted with millions of stories like this. We have children in this country that cannot write their matric exams. They cannot finish school because someone else stole their identity. That the facts are what they are, do not blame me. This is the result, the generational result of crime and dishonesty. So go ahead. You guys can side with people on the basis of skin color. South Africa sides with people on the basis of their character, of their legacy, and of who they are. Taint us if you will. We fear not. We know the power of truth. We've won many, many battles. Julle weet wat ons weet. And here's what the focus should be on as well. The other contestants from Nigeria. A Nigerian saying here, other contestants are heartbroken. This is unfair to them. I still maintain Chi-Chi should have competed next year and go through due process. But again, if corruption favors one, then it's called grace. I wonder how she feels knowing that the girls are affected by this decision. As I doubt they are intimidated, but they are concerned by the bias and favoritism, empowering one and disempowering another. Shake my head. You see, Nigeria, your legacy will be that you were willing to throw your own contestants under the bus in order to prove some futile point to South Africans. Okay? Our legacy was that we did what is right rather than what is easy. So to the world who wants to tone police us as you will. That's your story. Let them talk. Let them talk.
Is Jeep the caterpillar metaphor? South Africans, brothers and sisters, I greet you all in the name of peace. Let there be peace among blacks, whites, Indians, colored. South Africa belongs to all of us. Zanzi for sure, Simunye, we are one. Let them talk. Bazo Katala, let them talk. Let's push our government to do the right thing. We voted for change. Our vote is our voice. No foreigner will tell us what to do, not to do. You will behave or else you jump.
Ultimately, when we look at the South African people, there is a collective harmony that exists. They all will come for you. If you are not South African and you talking about South Africa, that's one thing South Africans will do. They will come for you and they will come for each other when one misspeaks or steps out of line.
You will behave in this country. If you are here illegally, you are no longer welcome. Pack your stuff and leave this country. Just keep insulting us.
South Africa, this one is for you. Let's go. Asiba Sabi, Siyabafuna. Asiba Sabi, Siyabafuna. Asiba Sabi, Siyabafuna. Asiba Sabi, Siyabafuna.
We don't have time to fight with disparate people.
So misunderstand us all you want, but we've always been clear. If you want to live a lie or you want to be comfortable in a lie or dishonesty, South Africa's not the place to do that. We'll tell you to your face. We'll never stab you in the back. We'll tell you to your face.
Still love him despite the shit that he talks. And so for me, it's not a beef. But one thing I'll tell you is when I grew up in South Africa, one thing I loved was you grew up in a space where people would say, Bazok Jela, we're going to tell you to your face. You know what I mean? We're not going to sit by and see you doing something and just act like, oh no, we didn't see it. I sometimes feel like America.
Are you going to hold your breath when something stinks instead of opening the window so that we can ventilate the stink openly for all the facts to be laid bare? This is our country. This is your country. You own it. If you are a legitimate citizen of this country, then whatever happens here is your business, and you have every right to speak up and not be intimidated into silence by anyone.
We don't have time to fight with people who doesn't even know where to go from here, who run from their country, coming to South Africa seeking for a green patch, who doesn't want to go back home to fix their country. We don't have time to fight with you. We don't.
This has been Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's not pretty. I will leave you with this one last thought with trying to intimidate a nation that enjoys fights. I will leave you with this one thought with trying to intimidate a nation that values truth. Okay, please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. Please go and check out my video from last year, South Africa and the C word, a look back at 2023, hashtag Bongi, hashtag colored not colored. Yeah, I'll leave you with this thought.
But South Africa, I will never in my life
in my fucking life beef with them. Do y'all see how they like so band together?
If the last 2 weeks have taught us nothing, it should be to leave South Africans alone. Leave them alone. Unless they say something about you first, there's nothing to say. Don't say nothing.
Yep. Don't say nothing. Okay? If you wonder why we're so weird, we grew up under sanctions. Nearly 50 years of people wanting nothing to do with us. We have our own identity. It is strong. It is firm. And we make sure that our side of the street is clean. We own our narrative. Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even when it's not pretty. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe. And yeah, you see how the world likes to own our narrative all the time. The whole world wants to own our narrative and then ignore us when it's convenient. But it's fine. The truth is what the truth is.
What does being Miss South Africa mean to you?
Being Miss South Africa means to me a great deal because it actually means that I managed to break a barrier that night. And I managed to help transform the world of pageantry in terms of inclusivity. But beyond that, I also have an opportunity to help create actual change within our society in terms of inclusivity and what it means to be beautiful and smart.
We don't have time to fight with you. We don't.
Some responsibilities of citizens in South Africa include 1. Respecting property, respecting the property of others, both public and private. 2. Obeying the law, obeying the laws of the country and ensuring that others do the same. 3. Contributing to the country, contributing to making South Africa a great country in every possible way. 4. Living in a safe environment, promoting sustainable development, conserving the natural environment, protecting animal and plant life, preventing pollution, and not littering. 5. Freedom of expression, expressing views, opinions, and ideas in workplace forum.
You just give the money that you need to give and the ID comes and your life is open in South Africa. And that's how Chichi's life started. Her going to school was on the back of that ID that was received fraudulently. Her having a degree, everything about her, stemmed from that one decision that the mother made when she arrived here to say, I need to live in South Africa. For me to live, I need access to the systems. For me to have access to the systems, I need an ID. So I think that's where we need to look at it, to say that's the decision that woman took, right? So that's the one part. The other part that I'm going to deal with is South Africans themselves. We are growing in our reputation as xenophobic, right? Oh, South Africans, you guys are just xenophobic. And it was intense online. You know it. I don't have to tell you. So I was like, I wish there was a platform where we could discuss, is it really xenophobia? Is it really? Because we've lived with conscripted minors in this country from the 30s and the 40s.
South Africans are not xenophobic.
South Africans
I've traveled
are
the
not.
world. I've traveled Africa.
Not xenophobic.
If you have not lived in South Africa, consult any of your friends who have lived here, even for a short period of time. They'll tell you how friendly we are.
So where does it come from?
How welcoming we are. How kind we are. How sweet we are. And I guess it stems from the frustrations that we are all finding ourselves in now, where there's this huge influx of illegal foreigners and a system that is not now able to carry so much more people that it can carry. Because you've got these systems, whether it's drainage systems, whether it's the tar roads, whatever it is, it's only designed for a certain number of people. But now there's just so many other people that are illegal. That's why I was saying it's a larger issue.
And what it also...
Final shout out to those who want to move down here to sunny South Africa. You are more than welcome. Of course, we'd love for you to be one of us. And we trust that you will abide by the same responsibilities that we have had to abide by since we were 6 years old, since we were knee-high to a tadpole. We couldn't even tie our own shoes, and we were taught these responsibilities. Be aware, please, that if you are to become one of us, you are expected to abide by those same responsibilities. We trust that you'll remember that this is a real country. It is not your wet dream about what South Africa should be. It is a real country. And for those who are willing to respect us as we respect you, you're going to have a great time. Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's not pretty, signing out. Where's my like and subscribe, my bro? Seriously. Bye, for real this time.
We don't have time to fight with you. We don't. We don't.